Troy. I'm a surgeon, a well-respected one. I have spent decades building my career, earning trust in the OR, and establishing a reputation that I can't afford to lose. I believed I had discipline, boundaries, control over every aspect of my life, especially when it came to temptation. But the moment Halen went into heat, all of that discipline cracked. I noticed it before he did. The shift in the air, the scent. It hit me with alarming clarity. Warm, ripe, unmistakably Omega. He stood there in the hallway, a little flushed, a little dazed, clutching a bottle of water like he couldn't figure out why his skin felt too tight. He didn't even know it was happening, but I did. I should have walked away. I should have called someone. I should have been the responsible one. Instead, I just stood there, staring at the boy my son brought home for the summer. My son's best friend. It wasn't the first time I'd noticed Halen, if I'm being honest. There was something about him, even before all of this. He was quiet, thoughtful, never asked for much, but everything about him lingered. He had this sadness in his eyes, like he'd spent most of his life holding his breath. And when he smiled, it felt rare, earned. I told myself he was off limits, that there was no reason to think about him like that. And then his body betrayed both of us. His first heat, unplanned, uncontrolled. And I was the only alpha around. We absolutely couldn't be together. Paris would be furious. He'd never forgive either of us. And if word ever got out, I'd be finished. I'd worked too hard to risk my license, my position, my name. But none of that stopped me from wanting him. Not then, not now.
Welcome to the official YouTube channel of J.K. Jones, where listeners can enjoy romance audiobooks for free. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date with the latest releases. This audiobook is protected by copyright law. No part of it may be reproduced, distributed, or transmitted in any form or by any means, including recording or electronic methods, without the prior written consent of the author. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental. To support ongoing content creation, consider joining the Patreon. Every contribution helps keep the stories alive.
Prologue. I've never had a heat before, not once in my life. But the first time it hit me, sudden, overwhelming. I was spending the summer with my best friend and his father. Paris needed me there to keep the peace, to be the buffer between him and the man he barely knew. I was supposed to be the calm in the chaos, not the one causing it. But then the heat came, and Troy, his father, was the only one who could smell it, the only one who could help. He was older, off limits, completely wrong for me in every way. And yet, I couldn't stay away. Now, everything is falling apart. Paris trusted me. Troy swore it couldn't happen again. But secrets don't stay buried for long, and some lines, once crossed, can never be uncrossed. Chapter 1. Halen. I've always been a bit of a loser. Scratch that. I am a loser. But this takes it to a whole new level. Olympic tier losing. The kind you don't bounce back from with a pint of ice cream and a sad movie. I'm sitting on my bed, staring at the envelope in my hands, like it's about to explode. It's thick, official looking, the kind of envelope that should hold good news, except it doesn't. I can feel it. The rejection is already bleeding through the paper like ink through cloth. Still, I open it. What else am I going to do? pretend it never showed up? My fingers are trembling as I tear it open. I unfold the letter slowly, like maybe dragging it out will make it hurt less. And then I see it. Just one word. Rejected. Clean. Clinical. Brutal. All the air leaves my lungs. R.E. Silverfang Consortium, School of Medicine. After a comprehensive review of your application, we regret to inform you that we are unable to offer you admission at this time. Due to internal policy constraints, the incoming class has already met the maximum threshold of Omega candidates permitted under the consortium's diversity balance guidelines. I didn't just get rejected. I got rejected for being an Omega, for being born wrong, in a system that only pretends to be fair. It hits like a punch to the gut. My heart stumbles. Rejected. I can't breathe. I slump back against the bed, staring at the ceiling as everything I've worked for unravels in a blink. I want to scream, but my throat is tight, like it's being constricted by invisible hands. I worked for this for years, clawed my way through every brutal test, every discipline exam, every whisper that Omegas weren't cut out for the field. I have done everything right. The weight of failure presses down on me, making it hard to keep it together. This is it. All those hours of studying, all those late nights, those missed moments with friends, all for nothing. Gone. The dream I've been chasing for years, ripped away like it didn't matter. I don't know what comes next. Hell, I don't even know who I am without it. I'm sitting there, numb, wondering how I'm supposed to feel when everything just stops. Then just as I'm about to shove the crumpled letter into the trash and pretend like none of this ever happened, the door slams open and Paris barges in like a freight train. Yo, guess what, loser? I got in! Full ride, baby! We're gonna be doctors. Paris's voice booms through the room, full of his usual cocky energy. He's grinning ear to ear, all 6 feet of him, leaning against the doorframe with that stupid cocky smile that makes girls and guys alike want to follow him anywhere. Paris has got the same messy, dark hair as his dad, wild like he can't ever be tamed, and a little too long in the front, hanging over his forehead just the way his dad's does. His blue eyes are bright, like he's constantly in a state of excitement, never quite able to sit still. He's dressed in a loose t-shirt that says, "The doctor is in," and a pair of board shorts. Even though we're in the middle of winter, he's always a step ahead of me. Always one joke, one stupid line away from making me laugh, even when I don't want to. I look up at him, and my chest feels hollow. I should be happy for him. I should be. But all I can feel is the hollow pit in my stomach growing wider. That's awesome, man, I mutter, forcing a smile. But it feels like my mouth doesn't even know how to pull it off anymore. He doesn't notice the strain in my voice. Of course not. He's too busy beaming like a goddamn sunbeam. You better. Full ride. No more getting dragged around by your sorry ass. It's time to get serious. Paris laughs, then flops down on my bed next to me, tossing his arms behind his head like he owns the place. The alpha looks so goddamn comfortable, like he's always in control of everything. And here I am, crushed under the weight of my own failure. I glance at the rejection letter, still crumpled in my hand. I can't let him see it. Not when he's this high on life. Not when he's going to be a doctor, living the dream. And I'm... what? rejected. Wait, so you're on the waiting list, right? Paris continues, oblivious. Don't tell me you're just gonna give up and let me have all the glory. I need you to be there with me, bro. We're supposed to do this together. I nod, but my heart's not in it. Yeah, sure. Waiting list. We'll go together. Like we planned. The lie tastes bitter in my mouth, but I force myself to say it anyway. Paris grins, totally unaware of the storm brewing inside me. Hell yeah. We're gonna crush it. I'll see you on the other side, Doc. He slaps me on the shoulder, hard enough to make me stumble a little. So, pack your shit. I'm taking you on vacation. I need you to come with me. I'll need you to help keep things cool with the old man. I raise an eyebrow. Your dad? Yep. He's been an uptight bastard ever since I showed up last year. You know how he is. Doesn't know how to be a dad, but at least he's trying. So I need you there to keep it from getting awkward. And you know, I can't spend a whole summer with him without someone to talk to. He flashes that wide grin again. What do you say, man? We'll hit the beach, relax, blow off some steam before med school. You owe me anyway for dragging you into this mess. I'm about to say no, because I'm not exactly in the mood to hang around Paris's dad, especially after everything that's just hit me. But Paris's voice is pleading now, soft in a way I'm not used to. I bowed my head, feeling submissive. He never complained that I was too submissive as an Omega, but I often found it hard to say no to him. Or Paris's dad. And what Paris didn't know was that I found his dad very attractive. Super attractive. Like drool all over myself attractive. But that would never ever happen. He was Paris's dad, for Christ's sakes. We could never be together. Please, I need you, dude. I'm so stressed out about this whole med school thing. You know how hard it is. I can't go alone. I need you there to keep me sane. I look at him, and I know I can't say no. Not when he's looking at me like that. Like he actually needs me. Fine, I say, my voice rough, barely able to get the word out. I'll go. Sweet! Paris punches me in the arm like it's no big deal. You're the best, man. He's so damn sure of himself, so full of life and promise. And here I am, just trying to keep my head above water. My chest aches. I don't know if it's from the rejection or the fact that Paris has got his whole life ahead of him while I'm stuck in this limbo, unsure of everything. I glance back at the letter one last time before shoving it under my mattress. It's not something I ever want Paris to see. Paris's enthusiasm doesn't let up. He's bouncing off the walls, getting way too excited about this damn vacation. It's like I'm supposed to share in his excitement. And I do, in theory, but I'm stuck in my own head, trying to push aside the crushing weight of failure and pretending like everything's fine. He's in full-on hype mode, practically throwing stuff in my back as he piles everything he thinks I'll need for the trip. I'm just sitting there, my fingers tracing the edge of my phone, my mind spinning. My thoughts keep darting back to the rejection, to the uncertainty that's now my future. And Paris's obliviousness only makes it harder to breathe. Dude, you still with me? Paris tosses a pair of board shorts onto my bed, his grin wide and wild, like a kid about to go on his first summer adventure. He's pulling clothes from my dresser, packing them without asking. He knows me too well, though. I'll wear whatever he gives me. just to avoid the fight. "I'm here," I mumble, barely registering the question. My mind still stuck on the letter, stuck on the thought of a future I can't even imagine yet. "Good, 'cause we're gonna have a blast," he continues, clearly on a roll now. "The country club's got all kinds of activities lined up. Golf, tennis, beach parties. Hell, I'm even thinking about doing that ridiculous speed dating thing they're hosting, just for the laughs." He shrugs like it's no big deal, but his eyes sparkle. He's got that carefree attitude, the one that makes everything seem possible, even when you're facing down a lifetime of uncertainty. "Right." I force a smile, but I'm not feeling it. My chest is heavy, my thoughts running in a million directions. What the hell am I supposed to do with my life now? I can't keep pretending I have everything together. Paris doesn't notice. He's too caught up in the idea of getting away from everything, having some fun before the weight of med school comes crashing down on him. "You know," he continues, his tone shifting slightly, "it'll be good for you. I mean, you've been grinding non-stop trying to get into med school. Maybe you need a little break, just to clear your head." His words hit me in a way I didn't expect. "Maybe," I say quietly, nodding like I'm agreeing with him. I don't want a break. What I want is not to feel like I'm stuck in neutral, watching everyone else move forward, while I'm still trying to figure out how to move at all. Paris doesn't catch the edge in my voice. Instead, he picks up a pair of sunglasses off my dresser and flashes me a grin. "Trust me, it'll be good. And I really need you there, man. You're the only one who can keep things from getting too weird with my dad. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing half the time, and I need someone to help balance him out." My stomach tightens at the mention of his dad, but I force the words out. "Yeah, sure, no problem. I got you." "I knew I could count on you," Paris says, slapping me on the back with enough force to send me forward a little. "All right, we're all set. The flight's in a few hours. Grab whatever else you need, and let's go." I nod, but my mind is still spinning. Paris's dad, Troy, is going to be there. And if I'm being honest, I'm not exactly thrilled about that. It's not just because Paris's dad is some serious high-class guy who could probably buy my future with a single phone call. It's not even because Paris and his dad don't get along, which has always been weird. No, it's because Troy is a walking, talking temptation. The guy is insane. Tall, muscular, salt and pepper hair that's always messy in a way that looks purposeful, sharp jawline, deep, dark eyes that seem to know exactly what to say to make everyone around him feel like the most important person in the room. And he's a womanizer to boot. But there's something else about him, something that gets under my skin. Maybe it's the fact that he has it all, effortlessly. But the real kicker, I can't stop thinking about him. And that's the last thing I need. Especially when both Troy and Paris are alphas. Not just socially dominant, but genetically coded for power, presence, and control. I, on the other hand, was born with a rare anomaly, an Omega designation so submissive, it practically made me allergic to conflict. The kind of Omega most elite schools didn't want to accept, no matter how high the test scores. A summer vacation surrounded by two alphas? It sounds like a goddamn nightmare. "I'll be ready in a minute," I tell Paris, standing up. But I don't know if I'm lying to him or to myself. Paris is too excited to notice the shift in my mood. Great. I'll meet you in the car. Don't take forever, alright? I watch him leave, the door slamming behind him, and I take a deep breath. I'm going to spend an entire summer with Paris and his dad at some fancy golf club, and I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. But I can't say no. Not to Paris. Not now. Paris waits for me outside beside a bright red 1998 Corvette, his curly brown hair waving in the wind like something straight out of a magazine shoot. He's leaned casually against the hood, arms crossed, sunglasses perched low on his nose. He looks like a damn movie star, like someone who belongs in front of a flashing cameras and velvet ropes, not slumming it with me. I flush, dragging my oversized suitcase behind me. The wheels click-clack against the uneven pavement, every sound a reminder that I don't fit here, not next to him, not in his world, not anywhere really. I'm nothing special. Sandy brown hair that curls at the tips when it gets too long, big blue eyes hidden behind thick-rimmed glasses, and a laugh that squeaks at the worst times. My knees are knobby, my shoulders too narrow, and my Omega scent is always faintly laced with nerves. Paris is built like a Greek god, an alpha with confidence stitched into his DNA. I'm his awkward, baggable handler, his sidekick. Nobody knows why Paris hangs out with me. Hell, I don't know why he hangs out with me. But ever since my dad died of cancer 2 years ago, Paris has never left my side. He doesn't talk about it, doesn't push. He just shows up with snacks or dumb memes, or once, a bouquet of daisies he stole from the neighbors. Now we're about to spend the entire summer together, just the two of us and his dad. Two alphas, one very submissive Omega with a rare recessive gene that made me practically allergic to confrontation. It's basically a nightmare waiting to happen. Paris sees me and flashes that disarming grin of his. Took you long enough, nerd. My lips twitch. Had to wrestle my suitcase out from under 3 layers of trauma and a snack drawer. He laughs and pops the trunk. Hurry up, or my dad's gonna think I left you behind. Which, to be fair, wouldn't be the worst thing for your reputation. Gee, thanks. I heft the suitcase in with a grunt, my cheeks still hot. What's he like again? Your dad? Paris shrugs, rounding the front of the car to open the passenger door for me like a gentleman, which of course makes it worse. Troy, you'll see. He's a lot. Great. A lot of what? Alpha testosterone? Razor-sharp smiles and smug confidence. I already hate the way that sounds. I settle into the leather seat, trying not to fidget as Paris slides in beside me and starts the engine. The Corvette purrs like a beast. I feel like I'm being swallowed by a life I don't belong to. I glance sideways at Paris. He grins, ready for the best summer of your life. I swallow hard, my scent shifting uncertainly. Not even a little. He laughs like I'm joking, but I'm not. Chapter 2. Helen. The country club looks like it's been plucked straight from a billionaire's Pinterest board. White stone pillars at the meticulously trimmed hedges, fountains that gurgle like they're gossiping about stock markets, and people who look like they've walked off the covers of GQ and Vogue. A valet in a navy uniform whistles low when Paris pulls up in the cherry red 98 Corvette, clearly impressed, and then rushes over to take the keys, like he's been waiting for this moment all week. Mr. Callahan, the valet says, with a slight bow, clearly recognizing Paris. Welcome back. Paris gives a tight smile, like this kind of royal treatment is normal for him. Thanks, Leo. Take care of her, yeah? Of course, sir. I step out of the car and nearly trip over my own suitcase. My oversized hoodie slips off one shoulder, and I quickly yank it back up, cheeks hot. People around us glance our way. An older man I swear is Senator Whitmore. A woman who looks suspiciously like Marina Costanza, the heiress to that yacht empire. I freeze. I'm so out of my league. Paris doesn't seem to care about the attention. He throws his arm around my shoulders like it's the most natural thing in the world and starts walking me toward the main building, our steps echoing on the polished marble path. His touch is warm, grounding, but it also sets off a tingle down my spine. It's not the first time he's done this, but it is the first time I feel like I might combust from it. We pass by a massive fountain, shaped like a swan in mid-flight, water glistening in the sun like diamonds. The front doors to the club are solid oak, carved with delicate patterns of vines and roses, and inside it only gets worse, as in better. Vaulted ceilings with gold trim, chandeliers the size of cars, a sweeping staircase that looks like it belongs in a royal palace. The scent of lavender and money fills the air. Paris leans in. Feels weird, huh? His voice is soft, almost sheepish, and it shocks me. Paris feels weird? That's new. Understatement, I mutter, trying not to step on the pristine marble floors like I'm going to ruin them just by existing. We reach the rooms and, of course, ours has a freaking balcony. Paris swipes the keycard, pushes open the door, and tosses his duffel bag on one of the two queen-sized beds. I stand frozen in the doorway, taking in the wall of windows, the silk curtains, the complimentary champagne already chilling in the silver bucket. He flops backward on the bed, arms stretched wide, and looks at me like he's waiting. You okay? He asks. You've gone kind of pale. I flush again and chew my bottom lip. It's just big, fancy, rich. Yeah, you get used to it. We've always shared a room. Always. Sleepovers, weekends at his place, even camping trips. But this time, something feels off. Or maybe it's me. I haven't gone into heat yet. But lately, Paris has been different. Touché. Protective. I chalk it up to nerves. His, mine, both of ours. Medical school's looming. And even for an alpha like him, that kind of pressure has to crack something. Wanna grab dinner? He offers, sitting up. Or hit the beach. We can... Damn it. His phone buzzes, and his expression shifts the second he sees the name. My dad, he mutters. He's at the restaurant. Wants to meet now. He doesn't look thrilled. You okay? I ask, careful. He sighs, dragging a hand through his curls. Yeah, just didn't expect him to corner me this soon. You don't have to go if you don't want to. No, I do, he says quickly, then softer. But can you come with me? My heart skips. Me? Seriously? He nods. You're my best friend. If he starts getting weird, just squeeze my hand or something. I smile, a little nervously. Deal. I started shrinking the second we reached the restaurant. There were so many people. Loud laughter, the clink of wine glasses, the murmur of old money. Paris grabs my wrist, half dragging me through the crowd like I'm a misplaced napkin. Everyone is dressed in soft pastels, linen suits, silk dresses, shoes that probably cost more than my tuition. My beat-up sneakers squeak against the marble floor as we move. There's gold trim on everything, real gold. The chandeliers look like they belong in a European castle, and there's this enormous oil painting of someone who looks like a Vanderbilt, riding a horse with dead eyes. Valets float around in crisp uniforms. I spot Madeline Renfield, heiress to that cosmetic empire, laughing at something Julian Lovecraft, yes, the hotel chain one, says, and my lungs nearly seize. We finally reach the private dining room. It's roped off, because of course it is. And that's when I see him. If Paris looks like a god, then his father is the god that made him. He's sitting at the head of the long mahogany table, wearing a charcoal gray suit that looks custom tailored to his broad shoulders. Salt and pepper dark chocolate hair, rough jaw, and tan skin that makes him look like he just got back from sailing the Amalfi Coast. Wrinkles line the corners of his eyes, like stories half told. His hands, Jesus, his hands are massive and calloused, like he works with them, even though I know he probably hasn't had to lift a finger in years. Heat crawls up my neck. My palms go clammy. Dad. Paris clips. They shake hands. Shake hands. No hug. No warmth. Just this weird, masculine tension that crackles in the air. You remember Halen, right? That gaze cuts over to me and hits hard. It's like being yanked out of my own skin. Yes, he rumbles. Halen, how are you? Peachy, I mutter, trying to smile. My voice cracks halfway through the word. Great. He chuckles, low and genuine. I've missed your sense of humor. Come here. He opens his arms, and I don't think. I just move forward. I shouldn't. I know I shouldn't. But it's like gravity. My feet carry me into that space, and suddenly I'm wrapped in the kind of hug that makes my ribs feel like they're going to break. He smells like old bourbon and expensive leather, and there's a heat radiating off him that sets something primal in me on fire. His biceps cage me in. My breath hitches. You've gotten taller, he says as he pulls back, hands still heavy on my arms. His eyes drag over my face, slow and searching. You eating enough? I blink. Yeah? When I remember. He frowns. You look pale. Paris, are you letting him starve? Paris makes a strangled noise. Dad. I'm just saying. The kid looks like he's one bad day from passing out. I give a weak laugh, chewing on the inside of my cheek. I've always been kind of ghostly. Paris's dad, Mr. Callahan, technically, arches an eyebrow. Still sharp. I like that. Paris lets out a sigh and nudges me toward the table. Let's just sit. I follow, grateful for the escape from those hands and that gaze. We slide into the plush velvet chairs, and a waiter in a bow tie pours water like we're royalty. I reach for the glass too fast and nearly knock it over. Mr. Callahan watches, amusement tugging at the edge of his mouth. Still clumsy too, huh? Only when people are looking, I mutter. His laugh is deep and warm and makes something curl low in my gut. Paris leans over, whispers in my ear, "You okay?" I nod quickly. Too quickly. Fine. But I'm not. Not really. We sit down for dinner, and I have no idea how to pronounce anything on the menu. "Order whatever you want," Mr. Callahan says. "Thank you, Mr. Callahan," I say. "Troy," he grins. "Please, you'll age me up if you do that." "I wouldn't want to do that. You look fantastic." "What are you, 101 now?" He throws his head back and laughs, causing several people to stop and stare. "You're too much," he chuckles, flushing behind his tanned skin. "You need to watch out for that mouth." "Nah," I smile. "It gets me into trouble as much as it does get me out of trouble." "Are you guys finished?" Paris mutters, looking annoyed, and I realize the waiter is standing there expectantly. Crap. And I also realize I've been subtly leaning toward Troy, the hoodie falling off, exposing my pale shoulder. Paris picks up the menu and glances at it like it's written in another language. Without asking, he signals the waiter over and starts ordering for me. I watch the words fall from his mouth, unsure if I'll actually like what he chose. A familiar flicker of annoyance creeps in. I hate how often he takes control like that. But I swallow it down. Troy's eyes narrow slightly as he looks at Paris. "Since you got into Silverfang Consortium School of Medicine, I expect you to be on your best behavior this summer. That includes spending most of your free time with Dr. Singh. He's one of the best surgeons I know, and I've arranged for you to shadow him while you're here." Paris nearly chokes on his water. "What? I'm on vacation." "The future doesn't take breaks," Troy says, flat but firm. "Dad, that's not fair." Paris sputters, eyes blazing. "Paris," he says calmly, "you've had months to get your act together. This isn't about getting into school anymore. You're already in. This is about staying at the top of your class and making the right connections. Before you even set foot on campus, I've set up a meeting for you once this trip is over, and after that, you'll be spending 3 days a week working with them. It's an opportunity. Don't waste it." "But what about Halen? What's going to happen with him? Are you going to ruin his summer too?" "I'll keep him company in the meantime, I promise." Paris's face twists in frustration, his jaw clenched so tight I'm half afraid he's going to crack a molar. "You don't get it," he snaps. "This summer was supposed to be normal. A break. Not just more med school crap with a prettier view." He slams his fist on the table, loud enough that a few heads turn. "And what about Halen?" He throws a sharp look my way, like I've somehow betrayed him just by sitting there. "He's not some side project you get to dump on while I jump through your hoops." His voice rises, raw and defensive. "You're gonna ruin my summer, and his, because what? You want me to suck up to some big shot surgeon before classes even start?" He scoffs and shakes his head. "It's already too much, and you're piling on more like it's nothing." "Enough!" Troy's eyes flash. "You'll not speak to me like that again." Is this what Mom would have wanted? Because... "Enough, Paris," Troy spits. Paris's mouth slams shut, the fire in his eyes flickering but not dying. Dinner settles into an oppressive silence. The lively clinks and chatter from the other tables feel miles away, muffled by the tension thickening the air between us. Paris stabs at his food without enthusiasm, his jaw clenched tight, as if he's chewing down on every bitter word he hasn't said. I want to say something to break the silence, but my throat feels tight, and my words tangle in my chest. Troy, usually so effortless, sits rigid across from me. The easy charm he wore like a second skin is gone, replaced by a quiet, coiled tension that makes the air between us feel thinner. He isn't the same man who was cracking jokes 10 minutes ago. The waiter clears the plates, offering a polite nod. None of us return. The silence stretches. Paris suddenly shoves back his chair, the legs scraping sharply against the polished floor. He rises so quickly the table rattles. Where do you think you're going? Troy's voice cuts across the table. Out! Paris says. Can't I even take a piss without you breathing down my damn neck? You're scheduled to meet Dr. Singh in 20 minutes. Troy hisses. He's waiting for you in the main foyer. I don't give a damn about what you say. Paris interrupts, his voice rising. You've already ruined my vacation. And I can do a hell of a lot more than that. Troy barks, nostrils flaring. Now get going before you make things worse for yourself. Paris coughs, jaw clenched, and rips the napkin from his lap, tossing it down onto the table with a flick of his wrist. Without another word, he turns on his heel and storms out of the restaurant. Silence crashes down again, thick and uncomfortable. I glance at Troy, but he's staring at the door. Paris just walked through, jaw tight, eyes distant, and full of something I can't quite name. I swallow hard. That didn't go well. I force the words out. Troy's eyes meet mine. There's something unreadable in them. A flicker of regret, maybe. He nods once, curtly. I'm sorry, Troy says, rubbing his eyes. I always think I need to take a different approach with him, but he can be so hard-headed sometimes. He sighs and lets his hand drop to the table. I didn't mean to ruin your vacation. Dr. Singh is on the board of directors for the school. Once Paris finishes this program with him, it'll open a lot of doors. Internships, mentorships, real visibility in the medical community. Not just here, but internationally. That's why I wanted him to start working with Dr. Singh a few days a week. It's not just tutoring, it's access. You didn't, I say quickly. Too quickly. It's cool. Who doesn't want to learn to be a doctor on vacation? He chuckles, and it softens something in his expression. How about I take you to the beach later? I swallow, hard. The beach? With him? Oh, God must hate me. My face starts to burn. Well, see, the thing is, I'm actually allergic to the sun. Come on. It'll be fun. I'll buy us some beers and we can have some fun, okay? Troy leans back in his chair, a slow grin spreading across his face. Relax. I'll bring the sunscreen. You can rub it on me. Doctor's orders. I almost dropped my fork. He isn't flirting with me, right? No, that's something that would never happen. But his gaze lingers, and as the heat crawls up my neck, I realize I'm not so sure. Chapter 3. Helen. Dr. Callahan is hot, Super freaking hot. He's so hot. I'm surprised no one's called security on me yet for what I'm hiding in this towel. I stood near the water, a towel wrapped around my waist, the sun beating down on my head, glasses glaring with the reflection of the light, and a thick strip of sunscreen slathered across my nose. Troy was supposed to meet me here after we agreed to change, and I was already regretting the whole idea. Then I looked up, and there he was. He came racing towards me like he was auditioning for Baywatch, except he was replacing Pamela Anderson. Jesus. I thought I might spontaneously combust by the time he arrived in a pair of low-slung black shorts, all gorgeous thighs, and a firm chest, with abs so defined they looked carved from marble. A damn washboard. You coming in? He laughed at my expression. Oh, wait. Come over here for a second. You missed your back. The sun gets pretty hot. I don't want you to burn. Before I could finish, he already had me by the wrist, tugging me toward a nearby booth, set up under a pale cabana. It was one of those private lounge setups you only saw at beach country clubs. Raised wooden platform, white linen curtains tied to each corner post, gently swaying in the sea breeze. The interior had cushioned benches, a small table topped with a frosty pitcher of lemon water, and a silver tray of tropical fruit no one was eating. The whole place smelled like coconut oil, sea salt, and money. Troy waved down a waiter and ordered us drinks like he owned the coast. Then we sat down, tucked away behind the curtain's shade and hidden from the rest of the beach, like it was our own little world. Troy uncapped the bottle and squirted a generous amount of sunscreen into his palm. I sat stiffly on the edge of the cushioned bench, heart thudding louder than the crashing waves in the distance. Then his hands touched me, firm, warm, and just the right amount of pressure. He smoothed the lotion across my back in slow, unhurried strokes. His fingers slid up my spine, spreading warmth beneath my skin like fire catching on dry grass. My breath caught. I stared straight ahead, pretending I wasn't about to melt into a puddle right there on the damn seat. Relax, he murmured. You're more tense than a cat in water. I huffed, but it came out more like a strangled wheeze. And then I caught it, his scent, that subtle, devastating signature that was uniquely Troy. Clean sweat, citrus, and something deeper. That heady musk that clung to the back of my throat and short-circuited my brain. Alpha, all alpha. And my traitorous body recognized it instantly. I swallowed hard, willing my body not to react, but it was already too late. My stomach dipped, heat coiled low and slow. Every part of me went traitor under his hands. He rubbed circles over my shoulders, fingers dangerously close to my neck. There, got the tricky spots. Thanks, I croaked. Troy chuckled. You're cute when you're nervous. I turned to glare at him, but he was already grinning at me, smug and too damn gorgeous, leaning back like he hadn't just wrecked my ability to think. But, he teases, if you keep looking at me like that, I'm gonna start thinking you want me to rub somewhere else too. I swat at him, but he laughs and catches my wrist before I can pull away. His grip is firm but not tight, more like a steady anchor in the swirling heat between us. You're way too tense, he says with a teasing grin. I'm just trying to help. Yeah, by torturing me, I mutter, trying to pull free but secretly not wanting to. He lets go, but leans closer. You know, I'm a surgeon. I'm not just some rich guy showing off. I nod, trying to keep my voice steady. Yeah, Paris told me. Well, that's just the tip of the iceberg, Troy says, eyes glinting with pride. The Callahans? We're third-generation doctors. My grandfather was a legend in the field. Saved lives, changed protocols. Dad followed. Then me. It's in the blood. I look away, the weight of his words sinking deep, feeling small, useless. My Omega scent sours, bitter with insecurity. How would Paris react if he found out I didn't get in? Would he be disappointed? Or worse, pity me? Troy's gaze lingers on me. You okay? He asks quietly. I swallow hard, nodding, but the knot in my stomach tightens. This summer was supposed to be a fresh start. Instead, it's turning into a reminder of everything I'm not. I take a shaky breath and decide to trust him. Or maybe I just need to get it off my chest. I didn't get in, I admit. They only admit 1% of Omegas each year. Apparently, they hit their quota before I even got my application looked at. Troy's eyes flicker with surprise, but he doesn't judge. Instead, he leans back and studies me like I'm suddenly more interesting than any patient he's ever had. That's rough, he says finally. But it's not the end. You're not just some statistic. I glance at him, grateful but still burning with shame. Feels like I'm failing, especially with Paris going to the same school. He shrugs, his expression softening. Paris is Paris. You're you. Different paths don't mean less worth. For the first time all day, I let myself believe it might be true. Please don't tell him, I whisper, shame crawling all over me. Troy winks, a sly grin tugging at his lips. Your secret's safe with me. Then, before I can say anything else, he nudges me lightly. Come on, let's go swimming. We laugh so hard our stomachs ache, the sound mingling with the crashing waves and distant cries of seagulls. The cold water splashes around us, icy droplets catching the sunlight like tiny diamonds. Every time I think I've got Troy, fingers curling around his waist to dunk him under, he twists away with a cheeky grin, water spraying in all directions. Come on, Halen, you're going down, he teases. Not a chance, I shoot back, lunging at him again. The muscles in his arms ripple as he easily evades me, and suddenly his hands grab my sides, pulling me beneath the surface. I gasp, lungs burning, then burst out laughing as I surface, water dripping down my face and into my eyes. Troy's eyes sparkle with amusement as he watches me struggle to catch my breath. You're losing your touch, Omega, he taunts, splashing water my way. Heat rises in my cheeks, but I can't stop smiling. For the first time all day, the knot of tension inside me loosens. This is what it feels like to just be alive, to forget the world and all its expectations. After a few more rounds of chasing and splashing, we finally collapse onto the warm sand, side by side. The sun dries the water on our skin, and a soft breeze carries the scent of salt and sunscreen. I glance over at Troy. His hair is damp and tousled, and his usual cocky grin is replaced by something softer, almost vulnerable. Thanks, I say quietly. For what? He asks, eyes meeting mine. For this. For making me forget everything for a little while. He shrugs, but there's a flicker of something real in his gaze. Don't thank me yet. We've only just started. Troy drapes a towel over my shoulders and grins. Come on, I'm starving. Let's grab some lunch. We walk through the sunlit paths of the country club, the hum of manicured grounds and distant chatter filling the air. At the lunch terrace, overlooking the golf course, Troy waves over a few men and women in suits, doctors by the looks of them. He introduces me one by one. Helen, this is Dr. Carter, a cardiologist, and Dr. Yamaguchi, leading neuroscientist, and Dr. Drazenovich, an expert in cosmetology who's revolutionizing regenerative treatments. Dr. Drazenovich gives me a warm smile as Troy adds, Helen here's aiming for med school this year. It's tough. Being an Omega doesn't make it easier. But he's determined. She looks at me with keen, knowing eyes. Medicine isn't just about textbooks and exams, she says softly. It's about people, about finding your passion and letting that guide you. Her words wash over me, easing the knot in my chest. For the first time, the crushing weight of rejection feels lighter. Maybe there's a place for me, not despite being an Omega, but because of who I am. I meet her eyes, and she gives me a knowing smile. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. We settle into the shade of the terrace, the hum of polite conversation swirling around us. Dr. Drazenovich leans in. I'm an Omega myself, submissive. I blink, surprised. Really? I thought most Omegas took suppressants. She shrugs, a faint smile tugging at her lips. Some do, but I chose not to. I wanted to understand my heat, own it. Why aren't you taking them? I hesitate, not sure how to answer. I never needed them. Troy glances at me, curious but silent. I've never had a heat, I say softly. My condition means I don't cycle like most Omegas. Suppressants wouldn't help. She nods thoughtfully. That's rare, but it doesn't make you less. The sun dips lower, casting a golden glow over the terrace as the wine loosens my tongue and dims the edges of my worries. Dr. Drazenovich's laughter bubbles over, infectious, and I find myself leaning into the warmth of the afternoon. Without warning, she grabs my hand, pulling me to my feet. Come on. You're not leaving without dancing. I start to protest. I'm not much of a dancer. Dr. Drazenovich laughs, tugging my hand harder. Nonsense. Everyone's a dancer once the music starts. I hesitate, then laugh along, feeling the warmth spread through me. All right, but don't say I didn't warn you. As we reach the dance floor, she spins me lightly, grinning. There, see? Easy. I grin back, the tension slipping away. Then suddenly, Troy's hands settle on my waist, firm and sure. Mind if I cut in? He asks. I glance up into his eyes, dark, intense, and nod, breath catching. Not at all. Troy pulls me close, the music pulsing around us. You're doing better than you think. I smile, cheeks flushed. "Thanks. I might just be a natural." He chuckles, his breath warm against my ear. "You definitely have the rhythm." I'm awkward at first, unsure of the steps, but then Troy's hands settle on my waist, steady and warm. His touch is electric, grounding me. I glance up, catching the subtle intensity in his eyes as he pulls me closer. The world narrows to the press of his chest against mine, the steady beat of the music matching the rapid thud of my heart. For a few blissful minutes, nothing else matters. Then the moment shatters as Paris arrives. He grabs my wrist with a firmness that makes me wince. "Halen, come on. Let's go hiking." I'm drained, every muscle aching from the day and the alcohol. But I see the exhaustion behind Paris's eyes. Hours spent trapped in a lab. Reluctantly, I nod, torn between wanting to stay and knowing I need to support him. Troy's face falls, disappointment flashing across his features, before he masks it with a tight smile. "Sure," he says quietly, stepping back. As I follow Paris away, I can't shake Troy's gaze lingering on my back. Guilt stabs me. I'm here for Paris, not his father. But a part of me aches with the loss of what might have been. Because it never should have happened. I never should have let him pull me close. Never should have let myself melt into the warmth of his arms, or breathe in the scent that left me dizzy and wanting more. It wasn't just wrong. It was dangerous. He was my best friend's dad. One wrong move, one slip, and everything could shatter. Our friendship, his reputation, and whatever fragile thing was sparking between us.
Chapter 4. Troy. The balcony hums with silence now, the last notes of music fading into the night like mist. Cool air brushes over my collar, loosening the heat that clings to my skin. I lean on the iron railing, eyes drawn toward the shadows where he disappeared. Halen. My fingers flex against the metal. I shouldn't be thinking about him. Not like this. He's Paris's best friend. Young, timid, an Omega who doesn't even realize what he's doing to me. But this was crazy. He was my kid's best friend and barely 20. It would never happen. But my alpha is awake, stretching, pacing. And I'm too old for this kind of ache. Too old, but certainly not too foolish. I heard footsteps behind me and I turned. "You looked like you were about to jump," Julie says. "Not tonight." She joins me at the rail, a glass of wine in her hand. "I got it back," she murmurs after a pause. I glance at her. "Got what back?" She doesn't look at me. "The stone. The one Thetis used to wear when we went out." My breath hitches. For a moment, I forget how to breathe. That name. It still hits like a blow to the ribs. My ex-wife died not that long ago, and it still gut Paris, and me to the core whenever she was mentioned. "That's not possible," I say quietly. "It was buried with her." She finally meets my eyes. "Some things don't stay buried, no matter how deep you put them." I exhale slowly. "Julie, Halen had nothing to do with that. He's Paris's friend." She takes a sip of her wine, gaze unreadable. "Maybe. But he follows you, not Paris." I let out a low, humorless laugh. "So this is about loyalty now?" She shakes her head. "No, it's about grief, and what you're doing to yourself. I saw you on that dance floor, Troy. That wasn't just mourning. You weren't chasing a memory. You were reaching for something real. You want him. You need to stop punishing yourself for it." I go still. "After everything you and Paris went through, after Thetis, Maybe it's time. You deserve something that isn't pain. I pull away from the railing. I should rest. She doesn't follow, doesn't press. She knows me well enough to let silence do the talking. The hallway is dim as I walk back to my room, each step echoing louder than the last. I pass framed paintings, old photos, things I haven't bothered to take down in years. They remind me of Paris, of her. Julie had always said Thetis was sunlight in a world that didn't deserve it. And she was. Blazing, radiant, impossibly good, until the day she wasn't. I close the door behind me and lean against it, exhaling slowly. The room smells faintly of cedar and age. My coat slips off my shoulders and lands on the chair as I cross to the bed. Paris had been 13 when she died, angry, grieving, too young to understand why the world could take someone so kind and leave him with me. He didn't speak to me for days. I sit on the edge of the bed, hands resting on my knees. I still remember the shade, how it struck so fast, so deep. I'd been a surgeon for 20 years, steady hands and instincts, but even I couldn't reach what had already claimed her. The darkness had wrapped around her heart, and by the time I cut through, there was nothing left to save. I tell myself I did everything I could, that I used every tool, every ounce of skill and strength. But it doesn't stop the echo of Paris's voice when he shouted, "You're the best. Why couldn't you save her?" I couldn't answer then. I still can't. I lie back against the pillows, staring up at the ceiling. I haven't touched another soul since Thetis. Haven't allowed myself to want. Until tonight, until a boy with wide eyes and a trembling voice brushed his hand against mine and made my whole body remember. Julie's words circle back. He may be Paris's friend, but he's yours. God help me if she's right. I wake up the next morning feeling a flutter of nerves twisting in my stomach. The sun filters softly through the curtains, but my mind is elsewhere as I pull on a shirt and head down to breakfast. Halen is already there, sitting alone at a small table near the window. His shoulders are hunched, almost like he's trying to disappear into himself. He's wearing a plain white shirt and bright red shorts that make my mouth go dry in a way I don't understand. His hair is a mess, just the way I like it. And with his glasses perched on his nose, he looks impossibly adorable. A strange possessiveness wells up inside me, fierce and sudden. Without thinking, I cross the room and slip into the seat beside him. Before I can stop myself, I pull him into a half hug, careful not to crush him, and press a gentle kiss against his pale cheek, feeling his smooth skin. "Morning," I whisper right next to his ear. He squeaks, a soft, surprised sound. "Morning." My heart thuds, and I hope he can't hear it. I pull back a little, my hand still resting on his arm. "So, what do you want to do today?" Halen shrugs, looking a bit shy but starting to relax. "Maybe we could hit the pool later, or check out that garden I saw yesterday. It looked kinda cool." I smile. The garden sounds nice. And the pool? Yeah, I'm down. I just hope I don't end up like a lobster. He chuckles. "We could grab some ice cream too, sneak it from the snack bar." "Perfect," I say. "Oh, and what about the golf course?" He flushes. "I've never played, but I figure it's more about looking good than actually knowing what you're doing." "I'll teach you. It'll be fun." His eyes lit up a bit. I glance at him, feeling that weird pull again, the blend of something easy and something electric. "All right, let's make the most of this summer." We step onto the green, the morning dew still clinging to the grass beneath our feet. I hand him a golf club with a slow smile. "Let me show you how to play." I move behind him, letting my hands rest lightly on his hips. His breath catches when I lean close, my voice soft in his ear. "Relax your shoulders. Let your hips guide the swing. I can feel the heat rising between us, the subtle shift in his scent, the flush on his neck. It's been a long time since I felt my alpha stir like this, and it's all because of him. The world falls away, just the two of us here on the course, and I know this summer is going to change everything. I feel the heat in my hands as they settle on Halen's hips, guiding him slowly through the stance. His body stiffens at first, then begins to relax beneath my touch. The scent of him, soft, fresh, yet tinged with something deeper, sends a familiar spark straight through me. It's subtle, but I know exactly what it means. My alpha rising. Steady, I murmur, almost a caress. Don't tense up. Let it flow. His breath hitches, and I catch the faintest tremble in his shoulders. I lean closer, my cheek brushing against his temple as I adjust his grip on the club. The warmth of his skin against mine is almost intoxicating. Halen, I whisper, you're doing better than you think. His blue eyes flicker toward me, wide and uncertain, and I catch the blush rising along his neck. It's impossible not to notice how it spreads like wildfire beneath his pale skin, how it makes his lips part just so. I'm burning up all over, and I don't even try to hide it. We stand like that for a moment, breath mingling, the world shrinking until it's just us and the soft hum of the morning breeze. Then, reluctantly, I pull back and watch as he takes the swing. The ball sails, cutting through the air, and he lets out a triumphant laugh, the tension in his body dissolving instantly. I grin, matching his excitement. See? You've got it. We spend the next hour moving between swings and laughter, teasing each other when a shot goes awry and stealing glances when no one's looking. Despite his nerdy charm, there's something undeniably magnetic about Halen. The way he concentrates, the slight flush that creeps up when I compliment him. It's all setting me on fire. When the sun climbs higher, beating down on us, I offer him my jacket. He shrugs it on, and I can't help but admire the way it drapes over his slender frame. Not bad for a rookie, I say, voice thick with something more than encouragement. He smiles, shy but genuine, and for a moment, I forget all the complications tangled around us. The past, the family drama, the unspoken rules we both know, but don't dare break. We start walking back toward the clubhouse, the grass soft beneath my feet, the sun warming my back. I glance at Halen, his shy smile making my chest tighten in a way I don't expect. He breaks the silence first. Did you always want to be a surgeon? I nod. Always. The Callahans have been doctors for generations. It's in the blood. He frowns slightly, like he's holding something back. That must be a lot of pressure. It is, I admit, especially when you almost fail your residency. He slows his pace, matching mine, voice dropping. How did Thetis die? Paris never talks about it. I stop for a second, swallowing hard. Car accident. There was a metal shard lodged deep inside her. I was the surgeon on call, the only one around. His eyes soften. That had to be hell. It was, I say quietly. I did everything I could, but the shard pierced something vital. By the time I reached it, it was too late. Halen steps closer, the heat radiating off him making my skin tingle. Sounds like you fought like hell. I shrug, feeling the weight settle again. I lost. He smiles slowly, that quiet, knowing smile that makes my pulse spike. Sometimes losing is just the start of winning something else. Our fingers brush, and an electric jolt shoots through me. The sun beats down, but all I feel is the fire rising between us. I glance over at him, heart racing. Maybe this summer isn't going to be so bad after all. We keep walking, the soft crunch of grass underfoot, and the distant hum of the club fading around us. Halen's voice breaks the silence, quieter now, heavier. My dad, he starts, then swallows hard. He had prostate cancer. It tore us apart. His shoulders slump. He was an Omega, my mom an Alpha. When he was dying, his last wish was that I make something of myself. Be a doctor. For him. His voice cracks, eyes glistening. Without thinking, I wrap my arms around him, pulling him close. The warmth of his body feels electric against mine. You will be a doctor, I say firmly. He looks up, eyes wide and wet, panic flickering there. I can't tell Paris. We promised we'd get in together. If he knew. My gaze drops to his lips, soft, plump, flushed. The heat coils tight inside me, buzzing, alive. Jesus. I've known this kid since he was a kid. This shouldn't be happening. And yet I lean down, closing the distance, pressing my lips to his. The world narrows. Only us. Only this moment. He lets out a low, startled noise deep in his throat. Soft, breathy, completely undone. I take that as my invitation and kiss him harder, my hands tangling in his hair. Fingers gripping tight like I need to anchor myself to him. His lips part beneath mine, and suddenly he's kissing me back with equal hunger, urgent and desperate. Without hesitation, I pull him behind the nearest tree, pressing him against the rough bark as I deepen the kiss, every nerve on fire. His hands find my waist, pulling me closer, heat radiating between us like a live wire. I taste the sharp sweetness of him, the flush of his skin, the quickening beat of his pulse beneath my fingertips. This isn't just a kiss, it's a claim, a need, a moment I want to burn into memory forever. Everything around us sharpens and narrows, the world melting away until it's just him and me. His heat mingling with mine, breath hitching in the charged space between our lips. I trail my lips from his mouth down to the delicate curve of his neck, my teeth grazing the sensitive skin as I suck in a hard, possessive kiss. His breath hitches, a low, desperate whine vibrating against my mouth that sends a shudder straight through me. His hands clutch at my shoulders, pulling me closer like he's trying to memorize the shape of me, the feel of my body against his. Every nerve in my body screams for more. More touch, more heat, more of him. The hunger twisting inside me is raw and unrelenting. I want him beneath me, want to see him on all fours, completely exposed and helpless, needing me. But just as I'm about to give in to that need, my mind flickers with a cold warning. I freeze, my hands trembling slightly, as I pull back just enough to catch his gaze. Halen, I whisper, my voice tight with urgency, and something darker. Fear, maybe, or something close to it. My fingers brush a stray lock of hair from his damp forehead, heart pounding so hard I'm sure he can feel it against his skin. You're in heat. The words hang between us, heavy and electric. I watch his eyes widen, the flush on his cheeks deepening, the sudden sharp intake of breath. The heat, his heat, is radiating off him in waves, intoxicating and dangerous. I want to lean in, to drown in that scent and softness and need, but I hold myself back. Because this isn't just about desire. It's about control, about protecting him, about knowing when to stop before we both lose ourselves completely. My chest tightens, the craving, the restraint, the unspoken things simmering beneath the surface. For a moment, we just stand there, caught between the pull of the moment and the things we can't say. Then, slowly, I reach up and press my forehead to his, breathing him in. We'll figure this out, I promise, though I'm not sure who I'm convincing more, him or myself. I need... His voice cracks, vulnerable and desperate, like he's barely holding himself together. Go, I whisper, urgent as I release my grip on him. I can't hold him any longer. Not like this. He staggers back, every step heavy, unsteady, like he's trying to put distance between us and the wildfire burning in his veins. I watch him go, every inch of my body aching, breath ragged and harsh. It takes every shred of willpower not to chase after him, tear through the tall grass, hunt him down, and claim him right here, right now, under the endless sky. My mouth floods with saliva, my heart pounding so hard it feels like it might burst free from my chest. I want him, need him, like I've never wanted anyone before. Raw and relentless, possessive, claim, mine. But instead I stand frozen, fingers trembling, the ache twisting tighter in my gut. This isn't just heat or hunger. It's a storm raging inside us both, and if I let it loose now, I'm not sure either of us would come back. So I swallow the want, swallow the craving, and grit my teeth against the unbearable tension. For now, I let him go, even when my alpha screams at me to chase. Chapter 5. Troy. I wake up throbbing the next day, skin sleek with sweat, every nerve ending firing like it's been doused in epinephrine. My teeth ache to sink into flesh. The craving is visceral, cellular. I stumble to the bathroom, bare feet slapping the cold tile, and stare at myself in the mirror. Black rings halo my eyes, classic signs of adrenal fatigue, cortisol saturation. My face is gaunt, haggard. Malar depressions deep, cheekbones too pronounced. My teeth look sharper than usual. My claws, keratinous tips, slightly curve. My hair is in complete disarray, matted in places like I've been tossing in delta sleep for hours. And I reek of pheromones. I'm a doctor. I know what this is. Hormonal flooding. A full endocrine response. Hypothalamus triggered. Hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis fully lit. Oxytocin, dopamine, testosterone, all surging. My sympathetic nervous system is hijacked. Fight, fuck, or frenzy. Every cell in my body is vibrating like it's bracing for combustion. And still, I can't calm down. I want him. I want Halen. The thought alone makes my mouth go dry, then flood with saliva a beat later. My body is locked in a loop, craving, spiraling. I know he's untouched, never been with anyone. I knew it before he even told me. The scent of a virgin Omega hangs around him like a chemical cloud. Pheromonal, thick, sweet, specific. It clings to him like jasmine oil, warm honey, crushed violets, and raw promise. It's maddening. Biologically, neurologically, it's designed to trigger everything in me. And it does. It's driving me fucking insane. I grip the sink so hard the porcelain creaks. I want to mark him. I want to ruin him. And worse, I want to keep him. I splash cold water on my face, hands braced against the sink. It does nothing. The cold only sharpens the ache coiling beneath my skin, like my body is overheating from the inside out. My claws retract with effort, muscles tense with restraint. I force myself to focus, clinical, detached, doctor mode. I open my med app and order a prescription for scent blockers. Halen's name typed in fast, automatic. He'll need them. Probably should have had them yesterday. Hell, I should have administered them myself. But I hadn't expected him, not like this, not that scent. I arrive at breakfast late. My heart rate spikes the second I enter the room. Paris is already there, leaned in close, talking animatedly with Halen, who's pink in the face and blinking too much. Laughing. Guess who almost got his heat yesterday, Paris announces, smirking like he's proud of himself, like he triggered it. His chest puffs out peacock preening. Bastard. I want to tear his arm clean off Halen. Just reach over the table, bare my fangs, and rip the fucker's limb out of its socket. Blood pressure spike. Respiration elevated. heart rate nearing 120 beats per minute. I grit my teeth and drop into the seat beside Halen. "You don't say?" I say, tone clinical, almost bored. A lie. Under the table, I slip Halen the prescription slip, neatly folded, coded for rapid pickup. His blush deepens. He takes it, fingers brushing mine. And for a second, he doesn't move. That damn scent thickens between us, curling around my senses, and I can't stop myself. I drag my thumb over the gland at his wrist, slow, deliberate. Halen shivers. A soft gasp escapes him, barely audible. His spine straightens, and he tugs his hand back like he's been burned. Then he's biting his lip, lashes fluttering, legs shifting under the table as he rubs his knees together. I look at him. Really look. And I know he's already burning. Not in full heat. Not yet. But he's close. Too close. And Paris is still grinning like he's the one who lit the fuse. God help him if he touches him again. I clear my throat, trying not to let the possessive edge creep into my voice. "How are the sessions going with Dr. Singh?" Paris lights up immediately, puffing up like a damn rooster. "Good. I can definitely see myself doing this for the rest of the summer. But today, I'm going to hang out with Halen. It's been so long since we spent the day together." My stomach clenches. The very idea of them spending time alone, unsupervised, when Halen's scent is still warm and sweet in the air, it makes the animal in me stir. "I don't think that's wise," I say. They both turn to look at me. "Halen just got his heat. He needs rest and—" "I'm not a China doll," Halen cuts in. "I want to go to the beach." I almost growl. The image hits me all at once, Halen half naked, flushed from residual heat, glistening with seawater in those red shorts he loves, his skin catching sunlight, that scent hanging off him like forbidden fruit. The beach? No, absolutely not. Too many alphas around. Too many glances I won't be able to stop. Too many instincts they might not be able to ignore. He doesn't know what he's playing with. "How about the sauna?" I suggest. "Or a spa day. I think that sounds better than a day at the beach." Halen's face lights up in that quiet way he does when he thinks he's getting what he wants. Paris, however, looks like he's swallowed a lemon. "Why?" he demands. "We haven't even seen the slopes or hit the trails yet. Plus there's this waterfall I want to see." "We can go together," I say quickly. "But an Omega should rest. Doctor's orders." I level him with a look, the kind I rarely use, but Paris grits his teeth anyway like he wants to challenge me. He doesn't, of course. Not out loud. Halen, to his credit, doesn't argue. Fine. I have to check in with Doctor. Sing anyway. "Why don't you do that?" I say smoothly. "And Halen and I will go to the spa. Once we're finished, we can hit the trails just like you want. Okay?" Paris doesn't like it. His eyes flash, and I catch a twitch in his jaw. But he doesn't say no. He just glares at me and pushes his chair back with a little too much force. Halen ducks his head like he always does when he's caught in the middle. I know Paris hates when I override him. He's grown, legally, a man in his own right. But that doesn't change the fact that I'm his father. And Halen needs guidance right now. Someone who understands the science of what's happening to him. Someone who knows how dangerous this can get. A sauna will help. The heat will relax his muscles, flush his system, maybe even quiet the pheromones humming under his skin. And it gives me time alone with him. Time to calm myself before I do something I'll regret. Time to make sure he's safe. Time to enjoy him just a little longer. We shower separately. I give him space, even if every cell in my body screams to invade it. The steam is already thick when I step into the sauna. What I didn't tell Paris, what I didn't tell anyone, was that the area I booked is completely private. One of the perks of my exclusive membership. No one else has access. No staff, no passers-by. Just me and Halen. He's already sitting on the wooden bench when I arrive, and for the first time in what feels like years, I see him without his glasses. My breath catches. Halen is stunning. Pale blue eyes that look almost silver in the steamlight. Long, fanned-out lashes that curl against flushed cheeks. Heart-shaped lips, pink and parted. His curls stick to his damp forehead, the rest of him gleaming with heat and sweat. The towel around his waist does nothing to hide the line of his hips. And that scent, God, that scent. It hits me like a wave, almost bringing me to my knees. My pulse stutters. His heat is blooming again, slow and low, rolling off him in waves that cling to the steam like syrup. He's trying to suppress it, probably using all his energy to do so. But the room is small, and we're alone. My feet move before I even decide to approach. I walk over to him and just stand there, shadowing him. Halen keeps his head down, his fists curled tightly in his lap. A flush crawls up his neck, vivid against his throat. I raise my hand and gently pinch his chin between my fingers, coaxing his head up. He resists for only a moment, then lets me tilt his face toward mine. His eyes flutter, wide and unsure. "You shouldn't look like that," I murmur. "Like what?" he whispers, his lips trembling slightly. "Like you want to be devoured." He swallows hard, his throat working. His knees shift, pressing together. I don't, but he does. I can see it in the tremble of his lashes, the arch of his brows, the tiny gasp he lets out when I slide my thumb over his lower lip. He's trying so hard to behave, for Paris, for propriety, for all the rules that bind us. But in this room, with the doors locked and no one listening, there's only instinct. And Halen's scent is a siren song I can't keep ignoring. I unwrap my towel, letting it fall to the floor.
Chapter 6. Halen. I wake up in Troy's arms after several rounds of passion. I'm deliciously sore all over, my body throbbing in ways I didn't know it could. But it's not unpleasant. It's proof of everything we shared. I rest my head against his bare chest, drawing slow circles in the patch of coarse hair there, listening to his steady heartbeat. He's so warm, so solid, so real. He shifts slightly in his sleep, murmuring something unintelligible. I smile and press a soft kiss to his collarbone. The sheets are tangled around us, the scent of sex thick in the air. God, what we did. I'd never, not with anyone before. But with Troy, it felt right, natural. I wanted him so badly, and now that I've had him, I'm not sure I'll survive going back to pretending like this didn't mean something. "Troy?" I whisper, barely louder than a breath. "Mm-hmm," he hums sleepily, pulling me tighter against him. I hesitate, my heart beating faster. I've never done that before. He opens his eyes slowly and looks at me with a soft, almost reverent expression. "I know," he murmurs. "You were wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with me." My chest tightens. I want to believe him. I want to cling to those words, but the fear creeps in anyway. What are we? The moment I ask, I feel the shift. His body goes still, too still, and his breathing halts for just a second. Damn. My stomach sinks. I shouldn't have said anything. Why did I say anything? The room suddenly feels colder, the warmth of his body no longer enough to soothe the panic bubbling up inside me. I feel the sting in my eyes before the tears spill over. I try to blink them away, but they keep coming. My mom always told me to stay away from alphas. They use you, she'd said. They break you. And here I am, in my best friend's father's bed, foolishly believing it was more than just sex. Hey! Troy's voice slices through the spiral of self-hatred. Hey, Halen, please, don't distress. I hadn't even realized my scent had spiked until he spoke. Embarrassed, I scrambled to pull away, dragging the sheet over my chest, hiding. But he grabs my arm, gently, but firmly. Wait, he says, sitting up. Halen, I'm so stupid. I choke out. I just... Tears are sliding down my cheeks in steady streams now, hot and humiliating. Stop, he whispers, pulling me into his arms again. Stop. I'm sorry if I gave you the impression that this wasn't serious. I like you. I like you a lot. I want to be with you. I freeze. I blink up at him. But, I'm not a doctor. I'm not... You will be, he says without hesitation. I have a friend who works on the board. Trust me, you'll get in. You and Paris will be doctors together. I promise. He kisses me then, harder this time, possessive, reassuring. I melt into it, gripping his arms like a lifeline. I'm sorry, he breathes against my lips. Since Thetis died, I haven't... You were my first too. I pull back, stunned. What? He licks his dry lips, looking at me with vulnerability and shame. Since Paris's mother died, I haven't... Not with anyone. And I didn't think I ever would again. My breath catches in my throat. He means it. I see it in his eyes. The grief, the loneliness, the cautious hope. And then a sharp knock at the door. We both freeze. Troy frowns and grabs the robe hanging on the chair. Stay here, he says under his breath. But before I can even think to move or hide, the door bursts open. Hey, I thought we were supposed to go hiking. Paris. He shoves the door open and strides in, and then stops dead. His gaze snaps to me in the bed, the sheet barely covering me. His eyes widen. Confusion, horror, betrayal. It's all there, flashing across his face like lightning. I don't move. I can't. The silence is absolute. And then Paris whispers, his voice cold and cracking. What the fuck is going on? Calm down, Troy says. No, Paris snaps, eyes wide and bouncing between us like he doesn't know who to be more betrayed by. My best friend? Really? It's not what you think. Paris, I say, getting off the bed. I grab a robe and throw it on, tying the sash with trembling fingers. I wanted to tell you that you were fucking my father? What are you? A fucking slut? I flinch hard, recoiling as if slapped. Enough, Troy booms. I won't have you speak about him like that. Like what? He's my best friend. Why do you have to ruin everything? Paris. I hate you. He spits and flees the room. We both stand there, stunned into silence, frozen in the fallout. I'll go after him, Troy says finally, his voice quieter now, more controlled. Just wait here, please. No, I whisper, already pulling on my clothes. Let me go first. Halen. If he doesn't want to be my friend anymore, that's fine. I can deal with it. I just don't want him to think I was never his friend to begin with. I'll come back with him. Or alone. Troy exhales, heavy with conflict, but nods. Okay. I'll meet you downstairs for dinner. He cups my face and kisses me on the lips. Last night was amazing. Never forget that. You're special to me. You always will be. I kiss him back, trying not to drown in the guilt tightening around my throat, and then I head off to find my best friend. Paris gives a small, strained laugh as we stand there on the overgrown trail, half shielded by the branches and ferns. The sun is dipping behind the hills, casting everything in a golden, almost sacred light. The kind that makes things feel more important, more final. He wipes his eyes, pretending not to, but I see the pain. I caused it, and I hate myself for it. I wish you told me, he says quietly. I thought we told each other everything. I know. I was scared, I whisper. I didn't want to lose you. You almost did. His voice is raw, but steady now. But you won't. Not today. Relief washes through me, my chest caving in as I exhale a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. Thank you. But I need time, Paris says, stepping back. I can't just pretend this is normal. It's my dad, Halen. I know. I look down at my hands, then up at him. Take all the time you need. I just didn't want to leave things like that. I couldn't. We start walking back through the trail in silence, the sounds of the club fading in the distance behind us. The crickets are starting to chirp, a soft chorus rising with the coming dusk. I don't want him to hurt you, Paris says eventually. He's not good at relationships. He always puts work first. He forgets birthdays, dinners. He's great at being impressive, terrible at being present. I nod slowly. Maybe. But he sees me, Paris, not just my goals or achievements. Me dot. He glances at me, then sighs. I guess if anyone could get through to him, it'd be you. We reach the edge of the club again, lights twinkling through the trees. Before we go in, he grabs my wrist gently. And I'm here for you. Even if I need a minute to process all this, I still want to be in your life. You're like family, Halen. Tears burn behind my eyes again. I nod, squeezing his hand. You're mine too. He lets go and starts toward the building. Come on. Let's get dinner before your boyfriend starts pacing the lobby like a worried dad. I snort. God, don't call him that. Paris grins over his shoulder. Too late. And somehow, just like that, a small piece of peace starts to settle inside me. Even if everything's still messy. At least I'm not alone. Paris wrinkles his brow. Seriously? Am I going to have to put up with this the whole summer? I smirked, bumping my hip into him. Yup. You two are disgusting, he muttered, but there was a faint smile on his face now, and the tension that had coiled his body like a spring finally eased. Troy wrapped an arm around my waist and kissed my temple. Get used to it, kid. I've waited long enough for this happiness. I'm not hiding it. Paris groaned, but didn't argue. Fine, but I'm picking the playlist in the car. Like hell you are, Troy said, grabbing the keys from the valet. It's my car, and I draw the line at any music that involves screaming, yodeling, or questionable lyrics about wolves in the moon. I giggled, resting my head against Troy's chest as we walked out of the club. The night air was warm, sweet with the scent of honeysuckle and the distant hum of cicadas. Troy opened the passenger door for me with a gentleman's flair and then clapped Paris on the shoulder as he got into the back. It was quiet for a while as we drove, Paris scrolling through his phone, Troy's hand resting firmly on my thigh, his thumb gently rubbing circles. I still can't believe this is real, I whispered, glancing at Troy. He smiled, eyes on the road. It's real, and I'm not going anywhere. When we pulled into the lake house, the golden light from the porch spilled out onto the gravel driveway. Dinner was waiting inside. Grilled fish, roasted veggies, and a lemon cake I had shamelessly begged Troy to make. He'd caved, of course. We sat on the back patio, plates in our laps, watching the sun dip below the horizon in streaks of tangerine and crimson. Paris talked about starting his internship. I shared a bit more about not getting into med school. And Troy just listened, arms stretched along the back of the bench, like he was finally at peace. Later, when Paris retreated to the guest room, mumbling about needing space from all the gross couple stuff, Troy pulled me onto his lap. His lips brushed my ear as he murmured, "You sure you're ready for this? Us?" I didn't hesitate. I've never been more sure about anything in my life. Troy kissed me again, slow and deep, and somewhere in that embrace, in the quiet, humid summer air, I knew this wasn't just a fling. This was my beginning. And God, it felt so damn good. The end.